Hi everyone, welcome back to Coffee, Books, and Rain. I'm Rachel. Now, I don't have any coffee at the moment because I have pretty much had a whole pot today, so I am hydrating with some water. But we have books, we have reviews, and we've had some pretty good clouds that have been speculating on rain, so we can cross our fingers and hope. Weirdly, it was like, I don't know, 75 degrees today, and only 4 days ago, it was like 27 degrees. So we've had some wild weather here in Huntsville. And I was struggling with a little bit of a sore throat for a little while, but I think I've been able to quash that pretty good. So, we are going to dive into the first book of the moment, which is Best Wishes from the Full Moon Coffee Shop. It is book number 2 in the Full Moon Coffee Shop series. And I do believe, I was just pulling this up, that there will be a third one called Dreamers of the Full Moon Coffee Shop or something of that nature. So let's dive into the summary and we'll go from there. From the best-selling author of the Japanese sensation The Full Moon Coffee Shop, this charming and heartfelt novel showcases the magic of Christmas as lost souls find themselves with a little help from an enchanted cafe run by cats. In Japan, cats are a symbol of good luck. As the myth goes, if you are kind to them, they'll one day return the favor. And if you are kind to the right cat, you might find yourself invited to a mysterious coffee shop under a Christmas-time Kyoto moon. Satomi is devoted to her job in Tokyo, but when her boyfriend hints that he's going to propose to her on Christmas Day, she becomes torn between the career in the city that she loves and a quieter life with her boyfriend in the country. What will the magical cats see for her future? Koyuki, meanwhile, works at Saitomi's company. Ever since her father passed away in an accident on Christmas Day, she's been playing the role of the good, cheerful girl. And now that her mother has remarried, she's forced to pretend that she's part of a happy new family. But this Christmas, what will the cats reveal as her true wish? Junko, Saitomi's sister, lives in a small town with her husband and their daughter Ayu, a first grader. When her estranged father becomes ill, Junko returns home with Ayu in tow. And with the help of the magical cats, she learns something surprising that will change her life forever. This holiday season, each stands at a crossroads, confronting their past and present struggles. With the help of some feline divination, each will finally have the courage to seek happiness and contentment in their lives. It first published February 9th of 2021. I am assuming that what I received on NetGalley was probably the English translation because it is Japanese literature, and so it was originally in Japanese and so is now being, I assume, translated into Japanese or into English. It is only about 224 pages, so it is pretty short and it doesn't take very long to read. And it is considered magical realism, although I don't know, it's hard to place it into magical realism when there is so much going on, especially with these magical cats and this coffee shop that seems to pop up in kind of unassuming locations. So it's magical, but it's fiction. I don't really know about the magical realism because I guess I've always defined magical realism as in a situation in where it could be magic or it could just be life or the universe smiling on you in that moment or making something feel really magical or kismet or something like that. Now, I mean, there are a couple books by, I think it's Heather Weber, that have a lot of magical realism where a town has certain magical properties, so to speak, but I feel like they're a little subtle. With one recently, the cars of people who needed to be there would break down, and the cars would not be ready until that person was ready to move on, like had dealt with the thing that they were working on, and then they were able to move on. So some of that is what I kind of call magical realism. This was far more just magical in my personal thoughts, and perhaps even a little bit of holiday magic would be a good way to put it as well, which is one of the reasons I am waiting. I think this book was potentially due for me as a reviewer at the end of October, but I was waiting just a little bit because I wanted it to be a little bit closer to the holiday season. So that was one of the reasons I wanted to wait just a little bit to bring it on this channel for closer to the holiday season. Sure, we still have Thanksgiving in the near future. I was going to say in the way of Christmas, but I think that's doing Thanksgiving a disservice. So we still have Christmas on the way. I actually did just put up my Christmas decorations throughout the rest of the house earlier today. But going back to this book, the Full Moon Coffee Shop tends to only show up on or around a full moon. And so it's kind of off cycle right now as it's showing up around Christmas time at this particular, for this particular season. And so I was reading the book and did notice at the very end, I want to say it was close to like the acknowledgments or something, that it is set at the end of 2020. And so I'm not certain what the moon cycle was for Kyoto or Tokyo during 2020 Christmas time, but it was really cute, and I love diving back into this world. There's something about a lot of Japanese literature that I've been picking up that feels very soft around the edges. I don't want to say low stakes because it is kind of people changing their lives, but it's also kind of changing their lives in what I would call non-epic ways. Sure, for that individual person, it is going to be fairly life-changing. For Saitomi, she is really trying to make this decision of whether she wants to spend Christmas with her boyfriend or if she is going to decide to choose her career and maybe not go down that path. So while the world will continue to spin and the only thing that's on the line is her and her career and her relationship, she's really got some choices to make as the time grows near. So then for Koyuki is one of the employees of Saitomi's company, and apparently it's some sort of event planning or something of that nature. So they do a kind of, make sure events happen and all that sort of stuff. So Koyuki apparently has gone to ensure an event goes off the way it was supposed to during this particular time. And she's kind of told her mom she's not coming home for Christmas, that she's just decided she's too busy, she doesn't want to come. And she feels like the type of character that she's really sunny and friendly on the outside, but she's really, really hurting on the inside, and she's never been able to really share that with other people because she doesn't feel like she can. I get that. I understand that because I know that I was a people pleaser when I was younger and have, I don't want to say grown out of it, but been able to acknowledge that sometimes does a disservice to myself. So for Koyuki, she's declining this Christmas invitation because of the heavy weight that she feels is on her shoulder. Plus, she doesn't like Christmas. And one thing we do learn along the way is that she blames herself for her father's death. Supposedly, the reason he died on Christmas Eve was he was going out after work to get her a present, and he crashed and passed away. So she has blamed herself for that. Then she has a half brother in her mom's new relationship that apparently, I guess the new relationship, the new her mom and the new like stepdad got married close to Christmas time, and then her new brother Say came into the picture also around Christmas time, and also her own birthday is in December as well. So it seems as though it's a whole bunch of stuff and memories and emotions tied to that particular season that makes it very difficult for her to want to, I guess, be present in that moment. The emotional weight is almost too much and it's overwhelming. So she has declined not to go this year. Then we go to Junko, who she is Satomi's sister-in-law. So the one we've talked about earlier with the boyfriend problems. Junko has a daughter named Ayu. And Ayu has never met her grandfather, but Ayu is this bubbly, bright. She gets to spend an evening with Satomi, just kind of enjoying the town, enjoying Tokyo and Harajuku and a couple other places. And so, but Ayu is just this, I don't know, this free, happy, ray of light type of spirit. And Junko does learn that her estranged father has become ill quite suddenly. And so now Junko is trying to decide whether she wants to take Ayu to go meet her grandfather, or if if Junko herself is even ready for that sort of I guess I don't want to say confrontation because that makes it sound like it's going to be an intense like moment, but for that sort of meeting, I guess you could say. She's been no contact with her father for quite a while after a situation that happened not only with her brother, but some of the memories she has from when she was a child as well. So Junko holds a lot of resentment and frustration when it comes to the person she believes her father to be. So I get that. Like, that is, in my personal opinion, like, understandable. So, but she's now with her daughter. She is trying to decide if now is the time to let IU meet her grandfather and see like if this person has changed in any sort of way. Now, one of the downsides of this particular book is there is a lot of astrology and divination. Now, I find that to be fun and whimsical and just part of a very free spirited sort of conversation. I don't mind it. Like, it's certainly not something that I know too much about, but it is something that I find fascinating. But I can understand how that could bog the story down a little bit because it gets very meticulous when these people, such as Satomi and Koyuki and Junko, when they go to the cafe and the cats talk to them about their moon charts or their sun charts or their star charts or their natal charts or what have you. I had to Google some of that just to understand it a little bit more. And I mean, I think it's because it goes so deep into the weeds a couple of times. Like, I would love to, like, just, I mean, what am I? I'm a Taurus. So, but like, apparently there's a whole bunch of other aspects that I don't really know. And I think that's fun. Sure, I'm curious. Do I know if that decides that that's how I'm the person that I am? Probably not. Do I get to decide the kind of person that I am from day to day? Yeah, I think so. But I still think it's fascinating to learn about. But it does kind of bog down the story just a little bit because I think some of that is what I don't really understand too much. And so I didn't know how to interpret some of it. Like, I mean, they're the ones who were having those conversations, and it felt very in-depth, but it also felt confusing to me. So those were just some of the things that for me, I'm not going to say it didn't work, but it made me curious. And it also, I think I glazed over it because I just didn't understand it. So, for being a 224-page book and then having moments like that where they're diving into these, oh, you're like, this is a Pisces, but it's not a sun sign, it's maybe like a moon sign or something, rising house, I'm not sure. But didn't know what that meant. Now, I love that Donna's books, she just said Hello Kitty meets American Gods. And I was like, what? I don't know if it's really American Gods, because if you've ever read American Gods by the author that we'll just not talk about the name, we'll just talk about the name of American Gods. That particular book is actually incredibly graphic, and it's incredibly intense and kind of dark and gritty. And this book is absolutely not dark and gritty. But there is one quote that I made a note of, and I literally have it on my post-it note here. And it said, quote, "Money is essentially a ticket to exchange for experiences." And it really didn't dive any further into that. It was talking about the person's true wish of what they wanted kind of out of life ultimately. And I really kind of had to pause at that because the United States has just gone through a shutdown for a substantial period of time. I was one of the individuals who did not receive a paycheck for a substantial period of time. And for me, money, and I think for a lot of people as well, money is not essentially a ticket to exchange for experiences. It is a safety to ensure survival, food, shelter, clothing. It is very stressful when you're not sure when you're going to get paid, and you're not sure how you're going to pay your bills, and you're not sure if your bank account is going to have enough for groceries this week. And so it felt a little bit dismissive in that respect. Now, the book can't cover the entire gambit of what money does, but they say money can't buy happiness, and maybe that's true, but it can provide security for those, for pretty much everyone. It provides you with the ability to buy your food, to pay your utilities, to continue to have a house over your head, and to be able to work towards those sorts of goals should you maybe not have those things. Money is not it's not frivolous just for exchange of experiences. And maybe in the context it was mentioned in the book of winning the lottery, for me, if I won the lottery, it would be a security net to ensure that I know that I can take care of my bills and debts, and my future will be less, I guess, less unstable. Like, I can have a little bit of stability knowing like my future is more on solid ground financially. But that was just like the quote that it caught my attention and kind of didn't sit with me great. Now, I do give this book 4 stars. I enjoyed it. I will read the 3rd book, but those were just some of my thoughts with regards to this particular book. I liked it. I do find it very dreamlike and enjoyable, but just kind of wanted to talk about it for a little bit. But with all of that being said, I want to thank you all so much for tuning in. If you haven't liked and subscribed, I hope you will consider it. And I will see you all on the next page. Have a great one.